From the heart of Europe to the world, this is RTI.
And now officially part of the commute to work. I'll tell you about it later. Hi everybody, it's Eric Wiltsher at the base of this. It was snowing again last night. It was lovely. It was. No, it was. Honestly, it was lovely. It's your sideways look at the news, complete with cups of coffee. That in-joke will come up later. Well, glad to see so many of you there already. Hi everybody. Hello Dave R, as always. Shaheen is there. Hello Shaheen. You're here a lot. As is Gomez as well. Gomez is here all the time as well. We keep looking at him. I see you. But I suppose I better talk to Mr. Banks now. Oh. Hello.
Hello, dear. It's raining again here. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's like the land of the midnight sun. It doesn't exist.
Are you Tony Hancock?
I can do Tony Hancock. What? I can do Orville the Duck and Tony Hancock now.
Can you do It's Raining Not in Tokyo?
What's that?
From Tony Hancock. It's the famous sketch, the ham radio sketch, where he's got a Mayday call on, and the guy keeps going, "It's raining not in Tokyo."
It's raining not in Tokyo.
Okay, that didn't work, did it? How are you?
Oh, all right then. That wasn't me Tony Hancock, that was my other one. I could do Jeremy Clarkson now as well. Yes.
What?
What?
That was awful. That sounded like Gordon Brown.
What, Gordon Brown? The one with one eye?
Yes.
The Cyclops of politics?
Yes, well, he's your compatriot.
That's me and Jeremy off the air now, isn't it?
Absolutely. In which case, I'm going to say hello to Paul Rach, who's got to go to the doctor's tomorrow.
Oh.
No, I have an ailment. I'm very happy about it.
My brain, having spoken to you before the show, when you said ailment, my brain went all fuzzy.
You thought of beer. That's what I meant to have ale.
Is it right?
I had a little tiny blister on my finger about a month and a half ago, and it never healed. It never healed, and it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and now it's just bad. I'm not even going to describe it because you will be sick. How big is it? It's about as big as you don't have our money. It's about as big as
than your hand.
No, because it's on my finger, but it's taking over my finger.
Hand?
Is it the size of a marble?
Yes.
No.
A marble. A mausoleum.
It's like a crater in my hand. It's horrible. I've decided that it's time to go to the doctor and.
Oh, Rach, take your camera.
No, don't take your camera.
Yeah. Because there's one video on YouTube which has got zillions of hits, where it's this young lady who's got a rather, well, what we call a zit. Here they call them teenage spot on her face, and the doctor's pulling this stuff out. And he keeps pulling it out. If you're having your dinner, don't worry about it. And he keeps pulling the stuff out, and it keeps going. All this. It's gross.
I'm going to do vomiting now.
I don't think it's going to do that. I don't think it's going to do that. But it's very yellow. That's all I'm going to.
Is it very full of fluid?
Oh my God's sake!
Yes, some of it, but it's also it's sort of half full of fluid and half a crater. It's very weird and not good.
I once had one of those on my bum, Rach.
I might have
talk through. If
I might have leprosy or something.
No.
If you do film it, the Daily Mail use these videos. Oh, this is the one time I will decry the press for some inexplicable reason. The Daily Mail love videos of things like that. They'll make you famous again.
Leigh, you're too loud.
I'll be too busy, probably writhing in pain to film it.
Oh, okay. Anyway, listen, we've got to get on because we've got a special guest coming up.
Yes.
So sad this. TPT has died. That's Tara Palmer Tomlinson. To those who don't know. It's just so sad. She was lovely.
she's had a terrible. She's had a dramatic and glamorous life. That's the best you can say about her. And she's fought all sorts of physical problems. She's had drug addiction. She's had drink problems. She's had problems with her love life. Then she got really serious health problems. And yet, all the way through it all, she, in public at least, laughed her way through it. And what a tragedy, 45 years old.
Oh, and I'll tell you what, she was fabulous on the radio with interviews. She was just amazing.
She was. I know, I've seen her.
Absolutely.
There was one with, I can't remember who it was now, but where she actually collapsed and broke down. She was obviously off her face on something, and she did this TV interview where it was an absolute car crash. But in a way, that made her what she became. It helped her become famous. She, unlike Amy Winehouse, who became a bit of a misery as far as her predilections were concerned, she made almost something special out of it and laughed her way through it. What a tragedy, though. The IT
absolutely.
Girl is gone.
Yeah, she was a lovely girl. And do you know what I liked about her? She was very down to earth as well. When you spoke to her, I mean, I saw her, and I cannot remember the other lady's name who died of cancer, at Channel 5 years ago. Oh, gosh, the name's gone. But anyway, she was there supporting her. And when you get to the green room afterwards, we were just chatting, and she was just such a nice person. Really nice. I know. And just talking about general things, you know, nothing. I mean, she was going home in a snobby great car, and there's me going home in a Ford Granada. Oh, that's kind of a big car at the time, but you know what I mean. But there was nothing precocious about her. Nothing.
Did she get over to Australia, Rach? Was she known in Australia?
I only knew of her recently when the lovely Duke and Duchess of Cambridge got married, and we were all sort of there watching lovely ladies arrive in beautiful frocks, and I thought, oh, who's that? And then the commentators were telling us all about who she was, and actually sort of teasing her and being a bit mean. And I remember thinking, that's a bit mean. I don't know who she is, but that seems a bit mean. It's a wedding, and who cares?
Yeah, I know.
And
you know,
all that sort of thing. But yeah, we didn't know of her clearly as well as you did. But
well, we're gonna have to move on. I'm awfully sorry because we got somebody waiting in the wings, as they say. Leigh, you did this one, the Galactic Star. Oh dear.
I know. There he is, and I've lost my list. You'll have to forgive me.
Richard Hatch.
Battlestar Galactica was the show, and I watched it when I was a kid. It was on when I was a kid in the 80s, and it was the most epic show of its time. It was awesome.
Battlestar.
It was.
Do you know that I actually remember people painting their cars up in Battlestar Galactica, having all sign written. Oh, by the way, Dave said after listening to the comments about that video, he's now going to be sick.
Oh, sorry, Dave.
I found my list, by the way. It was on the other screen.
Yeah. Alan Simpson. He was one of the huge television writers. And funnily enough, as I mentioned it before, I was trying to link it together, but never mind. Worked with Tony Hancock. And also...
Tony Hancock impersonation again.
You go on then.
I can't do him. I've tried and I can't do him. I can do Orville the Duck, though, if you want me to do him.
No.
All right, then. Carry on.
No, don't. No, just don't bother. Anyway, great scriptwriter, absolutely brilliant. And sadly, he's passed away as well. And talk about veteran. This is really veteran. The veteran comedian Corey Irwin has died at the grand old age of 102.
Incredible. Wow. And he was still working. He was still actually working.
Yeah. He just didn't stop everywhere. And he was really well known for his monologues. They were brilliant.
He came out the same... Rachel will know who I'm talking about now. I'm sure you won't. But he came out the same stable as Lenny Bruce. And
yes.
people like that. And they were so edgy as comedians. In fact, Lenny Bruce was so edgy as a comedian, he completely lost it and became a buffoon. But Corrie never actually did that. He continued working, very edgy, very out on the places that normal people don't go. Jackie Gleason and Woody Allen were part of that sort of fraternity.
Well, in the UK, you had, George Formby, who was a similar kind of comedian, very, very, very edgy.
He was in a music hall way, though, and he didn't always... He was very rude. In fact, that's why you liked him, because he was rude.
That was more burlesque, I think, maybe.
I think so. I was trying to protect him, Rach.
Were you really?
Oh, no, well, I won't.
Oh, thank you very much. Anyway, coming on the line now, we hope, because I've just hit the button to bring him in, is none other than a gentleman called Andrew Teague. Now, while the phone's ringing at Andrew's end, I hope he's going to pick it up in a minute. He's not picking the phone up. Come on, Andrew, pick the phone up. Andrew's been working constantly with our Leigh via the Consumer Watch Foundation to highlight what I can only describe as a tragedy with parents falling out, which is tragedy number one. But then when the fathers can't get to them, and Rachel also highlighted this whole...
She did.
Epidemic, I think it is, of families falling out. That this guy was only allowed to talk to her. Was it son or daughter, Rach?
Son.
He was only allowed to talk to his son for years and years through a letterbox. He wasn't allowed to go and see him. Now, Andrew Teague has also suffered in the same way, but has come up with the most phenomenal idea to take control of this problem. So, for one odd week, I'm going to hand it all over to Leigh, who's going to talk to Andrew. Leigh, over to you.
Thank you. Hi, Andrew. You okay?
Hi, Leigh. Good afternoon, all.
Hiya, mate.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Oh, that's afternoon from Australia, by the way, Andrew.
It's really good night.
Yeah, I know.
Right, off you go, Leigh.
Okay, well... Andrew, who's our guest today, is a man who's actually fighting for the rights of every man, woman and child in the world. That sounds quite an incredible claim, but it's actually very true. And he's trying to put an end to what is seen as one of the worst acts an ex-partner can carry out against their ex-partner. It should be a crime, but it isn't, and it's called parental alienation. I mean, in simple terms, we've all had people say things about us which aren't true, but what if those lies are making your child despise you? Mm-hmm. And there's nobody in any kind of authority who's willing to make it stop. Well, Andrew has dedicated absolutely everything to telling the world about parental alienation, and Tell us about yourself, Andrew, and tell us about this incredible David and Goliath battle you've taken on.
David and Goliath, indeed, Leigh. Well, it seems worse than David and Goliath. At least David did slay Goliath, which we're having a bit of a problem with over here. Yes, it is a fact we are trying to get the world awareness out there, which is obviously the key awareness of parental alienation. There's many forms of parental alienation, including the indoctrination, denigration, and the parental swapping role. Now, I say parental swapping role because the powers to be seem to think that it's just when a parent calls the other parent, that gets the other child to call the other parent mom or dad, but it's not. It's the whole role where they take away the family year and try and extinguish the other parent from the life of the child on the other side. And it's something that's been going on for years. And in fact, many years ago, I went through the similar kind of thing with my first daughter. I'm now on round 2 with my second daughter. And fighting hard. My personal battle's been hard. But unfortunately, unlike a lot of people that go away and wither away into the background when they're fighting for their children, I went away and researched as much as I possibly could about parental alienation, indoctrination, denigration, and indeed parental swapping.
What does it do to people, Andrew? How do people suffer because of parental alienation? What actually do people go through? Because I know last week you were going to come on the show and you couldn't because one of your members of dads, we'll name your group after, but one of them was in such a state you had to spend over 2 hours on the phone with him.
Yes, Leigh, that's true. I have had to do that on more than one occasion. On a 12-hour period before Christmas, I had 3 members down in the same day, and I spent the whole 12 hours dealing with 3 members. It's very difficult for us to obviously think to ourselves, oh, we can just put the phone down, because it's a case of we don't know whether they will pick the phone up and seek advice anywhere else. So it's a case of, well, you've got the member on there and you're bringing them down, so to speak, or rather raising them up.
What's wrong with it? I gathered from what we were talking about that they were on the, or at least one of them was on the verge of suicide.
Yes, I had to stay on the phone for with an ambulance while the ambulance arrived with one member before Christmas. Another member, I had to spend the time to get his mother to come, I think it was about 150 miles to go and collect him. That particular man wasn't a member and had the fear of joining it because he'd been told not to join the group. It would be bad for him. So,
your group itself, have members actually been told not to join your group because of?
Oh yes, we have had members that have been that have said to them that not to join our particular group and other groups, obviously because there is support out there for them now.
Yeah,
and it would seem that they wouldn't want them to have the support.
And this is the authorities. Who's actually telling people not to join your group or groups like it, and why are they telling them that?
Well, it's the likes of the agencies rather than the actual courts, although we are fully aware that the agencies, the perpetrators, hide behind the courts.
Yeah.
Because you are probably aware, you're over here in the UK, they are secret courts, and so they use that to hide behind them. And
when you say the agencies, you're talking about basically social workers, people like that.
CAFCAS, social services. There's no education with the system, although they're very limited education about parental alienation. We campaign to change the law, but as I've stated as well, it's no good changing the law unless the whole system from the bottom to the top is educated with parental alienation and all the forms of parental alienation.
Why are these agencies scared of organisations like yours? What are they worried about?
I can only imagine that the only thing that they are worried about is the truth, truth coming out, because as far as I can see, it's the alienating parent get to see what they like with their allegations, false allegations for whether it's for legal aid or false allegations, whether it's to get less contact with the parents so they can get more contact for CSA, or whether it is just the control, which is basically a massive part of the parental alienation.
Yeah, can I just butt in, guys? For our listeners overseas from the UK, there's the CSA. Tell us explain what these different things are, Andrew, so that people have an understanding of what we're talking about, please.
Yeah, no problem. CSA over here is where it's based on the income to pay for the money, pay maintenance for the child. That's the old word for it, maintenance for the child. And obviously, the more the alienated parent gets, the more time the alienated parent gets, the more money the alienated parent has to pay. So, for example, if they've only got 1 day contact a week, then the alienated parent gets paid for the 6 days that the child isn't there. If they have 50-50, they get paid less.
Yeah, I understand. And it's also, don't people have to pay for access to the child as well under certain circumstances?
Yes. I did myself. First it was £40 for an hour for about the first 6-7 months, and then for the last
£40 an hour to see your own child when you're paying maintenance on top of that. That's unbelievable.
Yep, absolutely. I think it's something that should be, we fully understand that there may be people out there that may need to have these contact centres put in place, especially the worst part about it is the reason for the contact centres is whether there's a safeguarding issue, which is okay, but a lot of the time it's because the parent has been kept away from the child for so long that they have to have a reintroduction time back to their own child. So they have to reintroduce the child back into the parent's life via contact centres, or and then it'll progress to possibly community, and then progress from there. Whereas many of these members, many of them shouldn't have even had their contact stopped in the first place.
Why did they get the contact stopped? This is because of, as far as parental alienation is concerned, that's because of what are considered to be lies told about one partner by the other, isn't it? And it's these lies which are turning the child against the other parents. But what's happening, this is being compounded by the agencies like we were talking about, who are erring on the side of safety to protect the child, and are accepting on face value what's being said about the alienated parent to protect the child. But this is working against the child as much as it's working against the parent, isn't it?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes, that's very true. It's abuse is what it is, but it's abuse on the children, but it's also abuse on the parents as well.
Yeah, because and the grandparents as well. They're affected by it, aren't they?
Absolutely. Yeah, they suffer through with anxiety, depression. It's like it's a mammoth thing that affects the whole of the alienated parents. From the whether it's the mother and the father, to the grandparents, to the aunties, to nieces, nephews, even to friends. At one point, they were going around there regular to see and seeing the children, and then all of a sudden they're not.
What sort of things are being said about? What sort of things are being said about the alienated parent? I know you can't say specifically, but what sort of things are said that turn the child against them?
Well, it could be something as simple as the parents texting to find out how the children are, and then the next thing they know, they got a non-mol on them because they've texted to see how the children are, up to any allegations.
It's incredible.
And the amount of people that I speak to it's unbelievable. The amount of messages that I get, or phone calls that I get, it's just unbelievable.
Can I just ask a question, guys? Because I hear what you're saying, but this surely has to impact on the children as well, Andrew. Do you know how that impacts on the children, Andrew?
Oh yes, of course. You've got a child that's a happy child to start with, and you get the child that's alienated from the parents. So there's emotional harm there, where the child is alienated from the parent. Then you get the psychological harm that is inflicted on the child, where the indoctrination comes in, where the child's mind is, for a better way of describing it, is all scrambled up, so the child doesn't know who they can say what to, what they can say. Who they'll feel safe to say something to, where the parent controls the child's mind. So what you basically get then is, if anybody asks the child anything, what they're getting is what the alienating parent is saying, rather than what the child is saying.
But what ultimately do you how are you handling this? What sort of things are you doing to try and improve this situation? I know you have something called the shirt off my back, for instance. What does that involve?
Yeah, I came up with the idea because the court seemed to take. Having spoke to many members, that they obviously lose a lot of money, lose money through the court process, i.e., solicitors. Contact centres, God knows what else, CSA, and they end up losing their money. They also lose their children, which is the only thing that's left with them then is the shirt off their back. So I came up with the idea, and I posted out. I did the shirt off my back. The first one had 250 names and locations. The second one in Cardiff had over 400 names and locations. And the third one I did had over 700 names and locations on it, and it's still growing now.
And what do you do with the shirts?
I leave the shirts at the courts.
At the courts, yeah. So you present these shirts to the courts, which is a non-aggressive act, but to show how strong the feeling is against what's happening. Yeah. You're also organising something called I'll Walk a Mile in My Shoes.
Yes, that's correct, yes. And we're organising that with America and Canada. And
this
there's
is
other
international, hasn't it?
Yeah, it absolutely is. Yes. It's the same story all over the world. Here in the UK, the same story there is here is the lies, the allegations and everything else. And obviously contact stopped, court orders are constantly broken. Child protection plans which are put in place for the safety of the children are broken. And in many times it's the alienated parent that's breaking them. As I stated with one member today now on the group, I said they may as well just get the alienating parent to write the court orders because they're not enforced. 2% of court orders are enforced here in the UK. 2%.
Jeepers. We've got a message from Michael who says, it's scandalous to have to pay for access to see your child. And I'm sure you'd agree with that, Andrew.
Oh, absolutely. There are certain circumstances where it's free, like if the court order for an assessment to be done, then it's put in place then. But if you're down to the position where, of course, the lies and allegations are put in place, it's very difficult to put someone into place who will do supervised contact for you, i.e. a family member, with the risk of them having lies and allegations thrown at them as well. It's a very backwards system, to be honest with you.
It's amazing, yeah.
A fine example of this is, my ex stopping me having contact. Then the agency's phoning me up and saying to me, put contact in, phoning me on a Tuesday, saying we got contact for you on a Thursday, but then they can't get hold of the ex. And then when they do get hold of the ex, I'm busy, so you don't get your contact. Whereas the first thing we should have done was got hold of the ex, arranged it with them, and then done it that way. But, it's absolutely backwards, and it doesn't matter how much you think about it or try to put logic into it. You can't. There's something that just cannot be done.
Okay, can I just ask another question, Andrew? So somebody's sitting at home right now, listening to you and going, yeah. But I've tried to talk to people and I can't get anywhere. And I know this is kind of a plug for your organisation, and I don't have a problem with that. What should they do if they're sitting at home on their own, probably in a small apartment or somewhere because they lost the house? What should they do?
First, stand up and stand shoulder to shoulder, and basically put the foot down on the accelerator and push back. The problem we've got here is, I'm just the one man that made a vow. I made that vow that I would not turn back on these children, no way in this world, even though they've instigated that this could be me having the group could be a problem. Well, that's what they say, but unfortunately, still at the end of this is the children suffering daily, every day.
Mm-hmm. There are 75,000 new cases of parental alienation in the UK alone every year. 75,000 new cases every year. How are you going to stop this, Andrew? What's your intention? Are you going to look for a change to the law, or what? How are you handling it?
Change to the law is what we're actually looking for. Obviously, that's number one, but also to educate the system from the schools who spend a vast amount of time with the children, so they're aware of parental alienation, right up to the judges. So educate the judges, the social services, CAF, and anything to do with the other side of it. I would imagine even lawyers should have some form of training in it, so they can be made aware what parental alienation actually is, because I think they got a block on what it actually means. They think it's only the parents stopping contact or this. There's so much involved with parental alienation on a massive scale, and it's absolutely damaging to the child. And I know this from my daughter, who's in therapy. She's 31. Who went through parental alienation, who would not call the new partner dad, and would not, her mind was set, and she came to stay with me at the age of 15, and hasn't spoke to her mother for 20 years.
On that basis, we've just had a message come in, Andrew, about the subject. This is from Dorothy, and she says, I have a lot of sympathy for you. But she's asking a very valid point, which actually we know the answer to, but it'd be nice to hear you answer it. She's asking, are there any organisations which also support mothers who are suffering from alienation? I think
Yes, we support mothers, grandmothers. What we also want to do is get support for the alienated parents as well, because many of them may not realise what they are doing is parental alienation. So there needs to be support. It needs to stop the circle, that's the continued circuit that's been going on over decades, where parents are alienated, they grow up and then they end up doing parental alienation themselves, and so on and so on. So it needs to stop. And it needs to, there's support out there for many, many people out there for different levels, whether they've been bullied, all sorts of other supports. And I think that there needs to be a support for the alienators who are actually causing parental alienation. I don't think they realise the damage that it causes the children.
Right. So can we get to the point of being shameless now, Andrew? Because I'm just going to be the voice of single parents out there at the moment. And I'm going to say to you, Andrew, how do I get in touch with you?
Well, you can get in touch with us through Facebook, Dads. We've got a group there called Dads. We've also set up a group, a support group, which is Dads Again. Obviously that's where you can get in touch with us at the moment. We are in the process of finishing the web page, which that will be available as well. We're trying everything we possibly can. We are actually, even after the 21st, setting up another group, same thing again, Dads, on educating parental alienation to the people, the members that's out there, so that they can see more of what parental alienation is.
Yeah.
You see, 75,000 people is what they're saying is the figure, but I would say there's a lot more than 75,000. When you look, and speaking to our members, and they don't realise what parental alienation actually is.
Absolutely,
indeed. Andrew, we're going to have to draw a line there. I'm sorry, we could go on for a whole programme like this, but before we do, I'd like Rachel just to come in and share the précis of this story of this poor man in Australia. And I just wonder if you can help him, Andrew. But Rachel, tell just the synopsis of the story.
My friend Paul was married to a Japanese lady. She's Japanese. They met in Japan. They married. They came to Australia. They had a child. And when the child was 3, she went back to Japan under the guise of having a holiday and never returned. The big problem that he's got is that it's international abduction, and there was no agreement between Japan and the Hague Convention, and so they hadn't ratified it. So there was nothing that he could do legally, absolutely nothing. What's scary for him is that now they have ratified the Hague in Japan, but they did not ratify it retroactively, so there's still nothing he can do. He periodically goes to Japan. He knows where the child is, but they move a lot because they know that people are looking for them. So the last time he went there, he found the apartment, wasn't allowed in the door. He knocked on the door, wasn't allowed in, was told to go away, police were called, that kind of thing. But he did manage to have a very short conversation with his son, who's now 14 now, and he could only do it through a mailbox slot in the door. And then the police came and ushered him away. But he's still, working on it, and he's still fighting away, and he's going now that all his avenues have been closed legally, and because it's international, it's messy. He now just has to wait until his son Liam turns 18 and wants to go and find him. But he's fairly confident that he will want to do that.
Funnily enough, I've had the same kind of thing. I thought I heard everything over here in the UK with everybody. It seems to be the same story. But I actually had a member who had he got into a relationship with someone that had come over here. Unfortunately, they were illegally immigrant, and obviously went back to their country, and he can't find them neither, and there's nothing he can do. And we tried everything to help him as well. It's a difficult situation, especially when they're moving around a lot and hiding away. That makes it far more difficult for the parent to try and have contact with the children. As far as letterbox contact is concerned, I know that story only too well. I travelled up from Swansea to West Yorkshire to see my daughter many years ago, and that's all I had through a letterbox. It's absolutely disgusting and shocking. There's no reason why they can't open the door. If there's no problems, no safeguarding issues, you would have thought that every single parent would want the other parent to have contact with the children and not inflict the abuse that they are doing. My feelings
always been that a parent has to love their child more than they hate their ex-partner.
Oh, absolutely.
Well said, yeah.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
Okay, well personally, I think that's probably a good line to finish on. Andrew, I can only say a million thanks to you for coming on and sharing all this, because it can't be that easy. And, when you're doing another campaign, open invitation, please come back and tell us places where people can go, where there's a campaign starting, and let us be a voice out to the world for you. We'd be honoured to do it, Andrew. Honoured.
I think that's a really good offer.
We are campaigning on the 21st of February throughout the UK, the major cities throughout the UK, as many as we can, for the shirt off my back. And 25th of April, we're planning on doing the same globally, because we've had a lot of interest from America and Canada, and because they think the idea is a good idea as well. So we'll be pushing for that as well. I'm actually campaigning every month. I'm in Bristol in March. I think I'm in Cornwall in April. It's PAD, which is the 25th of April, as Australia are fully aware.
Mm-hmm.
So we're hoping to just keep on campaigning and keep getting the numbers out, getting more people out there to stand in the streets rather than sitting at home hoping that change is going to come.
Absolutely, Andrew. I couldn't agree with you more.
I would encourage Australian listeners too. If you are an alienated parent, get in touch with Andrew and Dads, because even though they're in the UK, we've got to start something in Australia as well. But even though they're in the UK, you're going to find a friendly voice there.
Mm.
Can I just say very quickly that I think what Rachel just said is spot on, and with Eric saying that RTI is right behind Dads, can I also point out, for no other reason other than it's there, that ConsumerWatchFoundation.com is carrying one article a week on a regular basis, as long as this fight goes on, about Andrew's work and the effects of parental alienation. So if you go to ConsumerWatchFoundation.com, you can read about it there. And
can we get access to Andrew from that, Leigh?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, we've got links and everything. Yeah,
well, that's the easy way. If we just say go to ConsumerWatchFoundation.com while Andrew's building his website, then they can all get through to the Facebook page and everything from there. One address to remember, dead easy, and just look up Dads on Consumer Watch Foundation, and you're away. Simple.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Okay.
I just put something in there just before I go. In regards with Australia and actually all the countries, we have opened up a group, Dad Support, which is there because of the particular thing like last week and other ones, where we're going to try to support as many members as we can, as well as a feeling on a low ebb, and try and build a basis for them so we can get them feeling strong enough to continue to fight, because it's frustration a lot is without them.
Yeah, absolutely, Andrew. Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. Andrew, it's just an honour, and thank you so much for the time you've given us. It's fantastic. And as they say in all the good books, don't be a stranger. Come back and talk to us again soon, yeah?
Absolutely. Of course I will, yeah.
Thank you very much. Leigh, over to you to finish.
Cheers, thank you.
All right, cheers, Andrew. Take care.
Thank you all.
All right, mate, bye-bye. There's Andrew Teague from Dads, and I'm sure there's people sitting out there. Actually, the hair on my arms are standing up. We're not even going to take a proper break, really, because we'll just do one of these.
This is not the BBC.
RTI.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
You're never more than a minute away from the music on RTI.
That's normally.
RTI.
Don't worry,
be happy.
And I think that kind of says it all, really. You know, don't get down. Keep happy, and stay positive, as Andrew was saying. And there is a generation out there who want to do this.
RTI, the station of the stars. RTI.
The best music, 24 hours a day.
RTI.
And Paradise is where we want to take you with Andrew as well, because you can do it if we all stick together. That's right, isn't it, guys?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to change the subject completely, which means, well, I don't really want to work for this lot anyway, so I don't care. This week, and it's wonderful, because the organisation in question is a company called Bauer, and they run a radio group of channels, and they, yesterday, no less, put out a note saying, "We are horrified that the radio media is taking the mickey out of our notes." And they're really upset about this, Bauer. They really are. But I've got to take you through this. And you guys are welcome to comment on the way through. And I'm the one that's going to never work there, so don't worry about it. So apparently, according to Bauer, they've got a style guide. Hey, that's cool. That's cool.
I'm going to operate it now forever.
and it's presenter specific.
Incredible, isn't it?
Now, what we're supposed to do, you see, every time we play the music shows, because this is the only talk one, apart from when Leigh's on with his new music show and he just talks a lot, you're supposed to say, all the biggest hits, all day long, in every link that you do on the radio, which could be a bit different.
What?
I didn't say twits, I said hits.
You said twits.
Well, it could be blue as well. So all the hits all day long. And then you're supposed to say, "This is Radio Tatras International," during every link. Well, that's a bit stupid because you already know it's there because you... Anyway, so it goes on. It gets better. It really does. Apparently, we're supposed to speed and crunch.
Speed and crunch?
Yeah, we got a crunch and roll. Now, I have no idea what crunch and roll means.
That's something you do when you're on fire or something, isn't it?
No, it's when you're doing... It's in a gymnasium. When you're in the gym, you do crunches, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
So what the presenter's supposed to do is lay on the floor, bring the microphone down, do the sit-up crunchy things, and then roll over while they're talking to the audience. Marvellous.
Oh, I'm going to do that as well.
They're on the
toilet. And not forgetting, but you've always got to say, all the biggest hits, all day long, while you're doing crunches. You're going to get out of breath really quickly, aren't you?
I think it's really good. I think every radio station should be forced to operate in this fashion. I think it sounds brilliant.
We've got a problem now.
What?
Yeah.
The time that you talk, they're called links in radio, boys and girls. The time that you talk should be between 10 to 15 seconds.
Oh, yeah, that's really fast.
No, well,
I can't even say how you doing that.
It's not just that. What are we doing an hour?
Certainly couldn't do a sooty and sweep, Uncle Leigh.
No.
That's 15 seconds sooty and sweep, eh?
Well, the thing is, we do an hour of links, if you think about it. Because links is talking, we do an hour's talking, so we should cut Postcard from Poprad down to between 10 to 15 seconds. We'd go hello and that's it, no news.
I think that's brilliant silly as well. I love it. I want to work for Bauer.
You do?
Oh, well, yeah, get 15 seconds. How could I work for Bauer? I can't shut up when I'm asleep.
So the next one is all to do with lists, right? In radio, in the commercial world, which is very boring, there are A, B and C lists. The C's are the kind of like, the tracks you get on an album from a band, which aren't really any good, but they put them on just to fill it up.
Yeah.
So that's the C list, you see.
Are you talking about my show?
I didn't say a word.
We're talking about everything Bob Dylan's ever written.
Yeah, that's true.
That's disgusting.
But anyway,
disgusting.
when you get to
sued.
When you get to the... That'd be hard if it was Bob Dylan on the C list. If you get to the C list where Bob Dylan is, you've got to sell it to that every time you get one. Like, It's wonderful, and you're so excited about it. Yeah, right.
Isn't this really what in newspaper terms is called a style sheet? Aren't they just giving you guidance to how you're supposed to
No, this isn't a guideline. This is a de facto standard.
It's incredible, isn't it? How can a radio station think that is possibly going to work? This has been done by computer, surely.
No.
Done by men.
And they think it's so important. We get to the next section of this paper, which is called links into breaks or junctions. Right. So it's so important. They put it there again. Always say all the biggest hits all day long. I've heard that 1 million times in 1 hour, Mr. DJ. Stop doing it. I'm going to go mad. And they put it there again. And then
on BBC though, on BBC Local, because I must admit I'm becoming like the Philistine who talks about it and doesn't listen to it anymore because it's so appalling. They actually do a station ident every 3 or 4 minutes. That's ludicrous as well. Why do radio stations do this, Eric?
Because they're just scared. I'm sorry, it came from America and Australia. Sorry, Rach. And it started in the 1960s, to be honest. But anyway, the next one's wonderful. You've got to tease your audience into every break. So what are you going to do? You're going to tell them a joke? You're going to tickle them? What are you going to do? Say, I'm coming round your house to nick a fiver. That's a little tease. That's before every break, right? It gets better. But the guys doing the show are so stupid. So stupid. That's what Bauer thinks. So stupid. Because your teasers need to be signed off by your content controller or your content director.
Does Donald Trump run Bauer?
I don't know.
It's a fortress of censorship.
Now, we continue. So after you've teased them, offered to nick a fiver from them, then you get in the breakfast show. Most important, music positioning is as important in breakfast as it is in other daytime shows.
Is it indeed?
Yes.
I've never thought of that.
And then to insult all of the team on the radio station, so you think this has gone to the whole team of radio, right?
Yeah.
The boss man there says, breakfast is our most listened to show.
Is it?
Yeah, the rest of you lot are a load of rubbish. Well done, go home.
The breakfast show's over when I get up.
Well, that's true.
So no, it isn't the most listened to. I like Jeremy Vine at lunch. Now that's good radio, and he doesn't fill it with idents, and he doesn't have to do all these things. This is absolute madness. Surely this is madness within radio circles.
No, this is the norm. And then
it is the norm here too.
You have to tell Porky Pies as well.
Oh.
You have to tell Porky Pies because this is for. Are you ready, you two? This is for every presenter.
Yeah.
Now, the log, boys and girls, is the way the records track songs are on the screen in front of you. That's a log, and you have to stick to that like glue or you're fired. Now, what you're supposed to do is talk about the log as though you handpicked it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
And do you know what? I'll tell you a little secret, boys and girls. They don't do it in commercial radio. They're not allowed to do it. There's another person that does it.
Yep.
Right.
So they're telling him...
The music director does it.
Yeah, they got to tell white lies. Pretend
Is
that
Bauer
you've...
not commercial then?
Sorry?
Is Bauer not commercial then?
Yes, he is.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. And then you're supposed to play every single song as though you've chosen it especially for the listener. Well, how the hell do you know that? What? And it gets better. Every presenter must love the music. Every song we play is a winner. Really? Have you heard some of the trash that they play? Be proud of each one and share your passion. The audience will love you for it, and listen longer. No, they won't. That's why when people get into cars and only listen to FM, they're pushing the button, because they've heard it all before.
Yeah.
They really have. And then people listen to the radio to lift their mood. Have you ever heard some of these stations playing loads of sloppy battles and bleh? So apparently, because people listen to the radio to lift their mood, which I agree with that comment, have fun. How can you have fun when you can't even write the things down you want to be funny about, because the bloke who's in charge of it might say, no, I don't think that's very good, we won't allow you to do that. No. And be positive. How are you supposed to be positive? You can't write anything, you're not allowed to choose any music, you can't do anything, and every 5 seconds you're supposed to say, we're the winning station. How can you be proud to do that?
What
you can't. I think you have to consider that many of these people are working at Suicide FM.
Well, that's probably true. Yes, something like that.
Isn't it real though that radio, generally, particularly commercial radio, it wants to get rid of personality? They don't really want personality on the radio.
No, they don't.
No, but there's a reason for that. It's simple.
Why is that?
They can't manage personality. They can manage robots.
They need drones, mindless drones.
Yeah, they can manage computers where they can turn them off and reprogram them. But it does get worse, because you know this organisation, Bauer, they actually have a training school as well for presenters. So you can have your lobotomy when you're about 18 now.
Yeah. And you pay for it.
Yeah, probably. And you're supposed to enjoy your amazing job playing music for a living. Yeah, right, but
you're pushing buttons for a living. You're not even pushing them in a lot of stations.
No,
somebody else is pushing them.
Yeah, you get the thing up, you push the button, it plays all the adverts in the right order for you in a string. Then you have to be excited when you play 3 in a row.
But this is the homogenising of the world. This is happening everywhere. We are living in a homogenised world. We have all this social media which frees our minds and frees our comments and frees our bodies, yet all organisations like this are denuding us of any kind of personality. It's an amazing thing.
And I've got to this one as the final one. This is the killer.
Yeah.
Now, when you're doing a tease, because you're going to a commercial break, which you've already got signed off by your content controller or the content director, your tease must never say the name of the song. You can say it's the Beatles, you can say it's the Rolling Stones, but you mustn't give out the title of the track. Do you know why?
No.
Because the listener might not like it.
You give them an opportunity to turn it off.
Yeah.
They're going to turn it off 2 seconds after that if they don't like it.
Yeah, once you hear it.
No, but you see, according to the management, if they get the song and they don't really like it, by the time it started, then they won't be bothered to change channels, so they'll stick with it. I don't think so.
No, that's not what I do when I'm driving the car.
No, I don't think so. I think
because you have that thing on the side of your steering wheel, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
You just do flicky.
Yeah.
And I'm spoilt for choice. I can flick it and it goes to RTI Gold. I can flick it goes to RTI 1, or I can even listen to Roscoe Radio. Why should I worry?
Well, exactly. How big a Bauer within the radio industry? They're absolutely gigantic.
Ginormous. Absolutely ginormous. And this is what is their vision of the future of radio.
But it's not a vision. It's not a vision. This is battening down the hatches on talent.
Yes.
What a vision.
So where are you going to get the next Terry Wogans from if the radio industry is killing that talent?
Dig them up from somewhere.
Thank goodness. I can only say you're lucky people, dear listener, that we now have the internet. That's all I can say. Because, honestly, Bauer, you need to go back to school. I know this is done
Not for your own school, though.
No. I know,
not your own school.
I know this is done for all the right reasons that your accountants tell you should be the case to keep your money rolling in. But eventually, people will find an alternative, as they did. And let me give you a clue. I can absolutely give you a clue. In the old days, we had BBC 1 and 2, we had ITV, Channel 4 and Channel 5. And then came along this little upstart in the UK called Sky. And everybody laughed at it. The main industry poked fun at it and said, "Oh, it'll never catch on. Oh no, and the joke was, what's behind a satellite dish? A council house," being demeaning to the people that were watching it. Now, who's laughing now?
That was me.
Who's laughing now 20 years down the track? And if that happens to you, Mr. Bauer, what are you going to do to your accountants and your focus groups and your posh dinners with ad agencies when the ad agency says, "Yeah, but you ain't got any audience, mate. I ain't going to advertise with you anymore," because they've gone somewhere else. Just as they did,
very good point, yeah.
Just as they did with Sky TV in the UK. And it happens in other countries as well, where the extended choice is always laughed at. You can see, I mean, I've seen it on groups in Australia, Rach, the ones that we're members of, where the Australian people take the mickey out of the new boys and go, "Ha ha, we know how to do it, we've been doing it for a zillion years. Watch out!" Because one day, if you carry on living in an ivory tower, the ivory tower falls down and you're left with nothing. So don't kill my favourite medium, Mr. Bauer. Radio is the best medium on the planet, and I'm quite offended by what you put out, personally, because I think that's an insult to radio.
I think you're quite right.
Eric doesn't like it.
No, Eric doesn't like it. But do you know what? I just thought of something.
What?
They're never going to give me a job now, are they?
Oh, what a shame.
I know.
Well, I'm banned from the BBC,
You know what,
so it should be banned from there.
You'd have to become Uncle Eric Light.
Eric Light? No, I'd have to go on a diet for that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't work. Oh, sorry.
Eric
I shouldn't have said that, Rach. I didn't have it approved by my content director. Oh, no.
Lifestyle change.
Oh, my word. We're going to try and literally cram because it's we've got like 4 minutes left on the show. Sorry about that, boys and girls. And I'm just going to crank through some headlines for you. The Commons Speaker, John Bercow, who should be stripped of control of Westminster, according to some, as an MP's put down a motion because he said, "We shouldn't have Mr. Trump in the country, blah, blah, blah." And I actually think he was outside of his pay scale, to be quite honest.
He was, but at least he stood up and been counted.
Well, that's true. Mr. Putin has signed a law decriminalising, get this, domestic violence against spouses and children if it doesn't result in broken bones.
Can you believe that, Rach?
Psychological trauma doesn't count for broken, you see.
No. And whilst all that's going on, JC, Jeremy Corbyn, he's furious at the BBC.
And accused him of being fake news.
Apparently the BBC now does fake news. Yeah, right.
Well done, Jeremy.
I suggest you go and read some of those papers you used to flog on the streets, Jeremy. That's fake news, and you know it only so well. A young lady called Karen Matthews claims she's been frightened out of her life and bombarded with death threats over a controversial BBC drama about her kidnapped daughter Sharon. Well, you knew about it before you started, girl.
You shouldn't have kidnapped her in the first place, should you?
Absolutely. And just to finish, I think, that's all we've got time for, we've got to do a fun one to finish. An Australian man was trapped in a pond.
This isn't fun.
It is. How do you get trapped in a pond with just your nose above the water? How'd you work that one out, Rach? Quickly.
Well, he was digging with an excavator, and he was on the side of a dam, and the side of the dam collapsed.
Oh.
The excavator fell, and he was pinned underneath it. That's how that happened. But he just had to face at the water, and he was sort of moving his arms so he wouldn't drown, and he was there for a few hours until a neighbour heard him screaming. So it's a wonder he lived at all.
Oh, absolutely. Rach, it's time to say what you're doing this weekend and go bye-bye.
Oh, nothing much. Just getting the finger tended to and feeling sorry for my friends in Sydney, where it's going to be 40-plus degrees for the entire weekend.
Horrible. Leigh?
Well, I'm going to see a local councillor. I'm going to explain what his future looks like for him.
only a red top, as they call them, journalists would say something like that. It's marvellous. So anyway, with that, Rachel, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Australia.
Bye-bye.
Say
You
goodbye.
big girl.
I know. Bye-bye, City. Bye-bye, City.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
And with that, it's time for me to say goodbye as well. As we go on, we do thank Andrew Teague very much indeed. Don't forget you can get a hold of him at Dads on Facebook, or you can go to the consumerwatchfoundation.com and you can get all the details there. Do support him. And you never know, you might even be able to support Andrew to support other people, and that would be really cool. So if you've got a few hours to coach some people into being more positive, could be a really, really good thing for Andrew and help him out a little bit. Also have to say thank you to everybody who's been on the chat rooms, on the emails. Sorry about the emails, I haven't had a chance to do those. I've got to run because I'm off to see a nice young lady who's a singer. So there. Yeah. Coming up next, what have we got next? Oh, it's that Scots fella, isn't it? It is. It's Kilty K up next. My word. You just can't make it up. The excitement here carries on week after week, year after year, minute after minute. Bye-bye.